Ever get hit with Gemini's "you've reached your usage limit" warning after barely using it? Maybe you asked a couple questions, generated 1 or 2 videos, and suddenly everything gets locked down. So what's actually happening here? The problem is most people don't understand how Gemini's usage system really works. Google gives you the warning, but they don't clearly explain what's draining your account the fastest. So I spent hours testing it myself across free plans, pro plans, ultra plans, different modeling modes, image generation, coding, music, and video creation to figure out what actually burns through your limits. And after way too much testing, a few patterns became very obvious. First, Gemini actually tracks separate limits: your current use and your weekly use. The model you choose changes everything. If you're mostly using Gemini for normal text prompts, summaries, PDFs, or YouTube breakdowns, you're probably fine using Flash on standard thinking mode. But the second you start switching over to pro models or extended thinking, your usage starts disappearing fast. On some tests, one single prompt burned over 20% of the limit, and coding gets even crazier. I tested Gemini Canvas by having it generate websites and landing pages using different models. Flashlight barely touched the usage limits, Flash was still pretty reasonable, but Pro absolutely destroyed the free plan limit. Landing page generation used around 1/3 of the account's usage. And if you keep asking for revisions, yeah, good luck. Honestly, Flash seems like the sweet spot. The quality is still really good without burning through your limits instantly. Now, image generation actually surprised me. Creating and editing images was way more efficient than I expected. So if you mainly use Gemini for image work, your limits honestly shouldn't be a huge problem. But video generation, that's where things completely fall apart. This is the part nobody talks about. I had video generations burn 30% plus of an account from a single prompt. Even worse, there were times Gemini started generating the video, burned the usage, and then never even finished rendering it. So if you're wondering why your limits disappear so fast, video generation is probably the reason. That's why I honestly recommend using Google Flow for videos instead. Flow uses a completely separate credit system from Gemini usage, which makes it way easier to manage. Even free users can generate videos inside Flow using daily credits. And honestly, it just makes way more sense. Another thing most people don't realize is Notebook LM is also completely separate from Gemini usage. So if you're constantly summarizing PDFs, websites, research, or long documents, move that workflow into Notebook LM instead. You'll save yourself a ton of Gemini usage. At the end of all this testing, the biggest takeaway is pretty simple. If you want your Gemini limits to last longer, stay on Flash whenever you need it. Use Flow for videos, use Notebook LM for research and summaries, and avoid heavy coding on the free plan entirely. Because once you understand what's actually draining your account, managing Gemini becomes way easier.